Greetings, writers. It's Mr. Hebda from the Lackawanna College Writing Center, here with the first part in a series on quotation marks. So what are quotation marks? Well, quotation marks are a special kind of punctuation mark, and they look something like this. They're like these double curls, and they go around words like brackets, words and phrases, actually sometimes even whole sentences. And they're important because they separate certain words, sentences, phrases from other ones. And we want to separate some of that material in order to show different things. So quotation marks have a couple different functions. They can set off dialogue from, say, a story. If you have a character who says something in a story, you might want to use quotation marks to show that what the character's saying isn't the same thing as what the narrator's saying. We can also use quotation marks in essays when you're quoting someone maybe from an interview or an expert, and you're using the exact words of that person to support your argument. You'll need to put quotation marks around it so that you let the reader know those are not your own words. And we also use quotation marks around the titles of short works like newspaper or journal articles, short poems that are only a few pages long, or and even song titles. So these are all places where quotation marks are used, but today we're going to focus on how to punctuate dialogue in particular, because there's a lot of tricky rules that go on there, and we'll make them clear. So let's talk about commas first, because they can always be problematic. Commas have a special relationship with quotation marks. Commas are used to separate the quoted material, in this case we're going to be talking about dialogue, from the rest of a sentence. So here are some examples. Jen said, comma, the writing center is really helpful. So Jen said is the not quoted material, and we use the comma to separate it from the quotation about the writing center. Here's another example. That's a great essay topic, the teacher said. So here we've got quoted material that comes first. And notice that when this happens, we have to put the comma inside the quotation marks. There's a lot of punctuation marks that work that way. We'll talk about some more later on in the video. Here's an example that uses both. Inside the library, comma, Randall said, comma, there's more than just books. So here our sentence is broken into three different parts, and so we need to use two commas to separate the two different sections of dialogue from the section that's not quoted. You probably noticed that a few of those past examples had some capitalized letters that weren't at the beginning of the sentence. So what's up with that? Let's get to the bottom of it. Well, that's because whenever the material inside a quotation could stand on its own as a complete thought, it needs to be capitalized. So remember, a complete thought is made when a subject, which is usually a noun or a pronoun, a person, place, thing, or idea, and a verb come together. So here's an example. Abdul said, never giving up is the secret to success. So if we take what Abdul said and just look at it on its own, never giving up is the secret to success, that could stand on its own as a sentence. And it's a little tricky, but the word never here is actually working as an indefinite pronoun. So it's actually the subject of the sentence. And so it would have to be capitalized. And of course, is our verb. All right, let's talk about some of these end punctuation marks, because they have some special roles to play with quotation marks. These end punctuation marks should always go inside quotation marks in cases like the examples below. What's for homework? The student asked. So here we have to put that question mark inside the quotation marks. That's important. And again, we've got it going on here too. I got one, Sandra cried as she reeled in a large fish. So here we have an exclamation point, and we would put that again inside those quotation marks. And again, next time you're outside, Mom said, refill the bird feeder. This time we're using a period at the end of the sentence, and it goes inside those quotation marks. So that's super important to keep in mind. These punctuation marks shouldn't just be floating outside the quotation marks. All right, let's explore a couple examples. And maybe together we can figure out what kind of errors are going on and we can correct them. All right, so Tom went to the repair shop wondering, where's my bicycle? So something looks a little weird at the beginning of that quotation. Where's my bicycle is a full sentence. It could stand on its own, so that W should be capitalized. And what's going on with that comma? So we've got some crazy stuff going on there. And then we've got the question mark hanging outside the quotation marks, so that's a problem. we want to revise the sentence so it looks something like this. Tom went to the repair shop wondering, where's my bicycle? Here's another example. Hey, Janie asked, when's the essay due? So we've got that comma between hey and Janie just kind of floating there. That doesn't look right. And again, when's the essay due is a full sentence. That's a complete thought. So the W needs to be capitalized. And again, we've got that question mark just hanging out in the end of our quotation there, our dialogue. So we want to correct the sentence by revising it this way. Hey, Janie asked, when's the essay due? Great work today, writers. Be sure to check out the Lackawanna College Writing Center YouTube channel for more helpful videos. And as always, feel free to make an appointment at the Writing Center if you have any writing-related questions. We're always here to see you succeed. Keep up all the great writing, everyone. Mr. Hebda out.